call the meeting to order. We have a rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Chairman Bork and Selectman Dagevich aren't able to make it here tonight, so I'll be chairing the meeting. And the reason we were a little bit late is we had a fixture down in the entryway for the town hall that was smoking, so there's no need to evacuate. But there is a smoking fixture that the fire department is going to take care of. So
Lights
at least
inside,
right now we don't think there is a need to evacuate. So we'll move on to the approval of the regular session meeting minutes. I don't know if we want to wait for the Chairman Bork and Selectman Dagevich, or we can do them right now, whatever.
Whatever your pleasure is. I don't have a problem either way.
I've read them, so I'm good. I guess we'll entertain motions.
What would you like to do?
I'll make a motion to approve the Selectmen's meeting minutes from Monday, August 8th, 2016.
Second.
Any other discussion? Courtney, you can take a roll.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. I think we have the regular for August 22nd.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular session meeting minutes for Monday, August 22nd, 2016.
Second.
Any questions? If not, we'll take a roll.
Just for discussion, I did recuse myself from the first part of that meeting. But
And it is listed.
Yes.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. We have an August 31st regular session.
Make a motion to accept August 31st minutes. That'd be on a Wednesday.
Second.
Any questions? If not, we'll take a roll.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. And lastly, we have regular from the 12th of September. I actually had a couple of minor
Yes.
changes in that one.
Yes, there was, if I may, Mr. Chairman, also down that it found probable, is that what you're looking at?
Yep.
And then down below, and Selectman Dagevich asked when the trial.
If you could just describe the line for Courtney.
Okay.
Begins with, the line that begins with?
Okay, and the first one, it would, he found probable cause. It's about 2/3 of the way down, okay? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 lines down, have the board needed to prove, okay? And then at the end of that sentence, that's all, it's very minuscule. Maybe you
Yeah,
have something.
the only other one that I had, Courtney, was about 10 lines up from the bottom. It begins with "has found probable cause," and that's, you've got the probable corrected, to move the, it's, I think, DUI charge
Okay.
instead of charged, adding DUI. Any other corrections? Okay. I guess we'll take a roll. Courtney, take the roll.
Selectman Miller?
Yes,
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. And now we have executive session from August 22nd.
make a motion to accept the minutes of executive session, August 22nd. And we still need some information on that, I believe. Am I correct? We're gonna get some
Correct.
feedback.
We're planning on having both an engineering and legal update for the board. It's about that time.
So we'll hold until we...
These will not be released.
Okay.
Second.
We'll take the roll, please.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. And lastly, executive session for August 31st.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Take a roll.
We got a...
For release, not for
No.
release.
It would be not for release, I would imagine at this point.
Selectman
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. Okay, that takes care of the regular session and the executive session minutes. And we have Mr. Andrew Jalbert on the agenda for his Eagle Scout project. Mr. Jalbert, welcome. Have a seat. And I know we were provided a very thorough, I won't say lengthy, a very thorough presentation in our packets. So you want to just talk a little bit about yourself and the project you're proposing?
Of course. My name is Andrew Jalbert, and I'm a Life Scout in Troop 173 here in Webster, Massachusetts. I plan to complete my Eagle Scout, and what I need to do for that is an Eagle Scout project. I would like to build an informational board about the eagles on Webster Lake at Memorial Beach. I live on Webster Lake all summer, and I'm very surprised to realize how few people know the eagles are actually there or are still there. This board will highlight some of the information and raise awareness of the eagles' presence. The board will contain information like the location of the eagles' homes, the names, family tree, and some fascinating pictures my friends and I have taken. I have already met with the building inspector, Ted Tatro, and the head of the Highway and Parks Department, Kenny Pizzetti. They both loved the idea and helped me find a spot. Like I said earlier, we plan to construct the board at Memorial Beach within the next few months. It should be all good to go for next summer. And we met with Kenny Pizzetti today to find a location, and it's going to be right at the walking path at Memorial Beach in between the two stone benches they have there, memorial benches, and it looks like a great spot. Thank you for your time.
Welcome, thank you. I'm curious if this is a first that an Eagle Scout candidate is doing a project on eagles.
You know what? I mean, my uncle mentioned it to me, and I just immediately thought that'd be a great idea. I mean, how can you pass up something like that?
Absolutely. Take any questions?
This is one of the, if I may, Mr. Chairman, this is one of the most enjoyable parts of being on the Board of Selectmen. Some days aren't so, shall we say, kind. But this is always, I love this. And I think, did a lawyer prepare this for you? No, not- I'm kidding. 'Cause-
Or a father?
Same thing.
How much did he charge you? That's the question.
And I think it's, well, they were right on your side yard at one time.
Oh yeah, they were.
Literally.
Oh yeah, they have great
And
view of them.
they've moved just a few hundred yards away, so to speak.
Not too far, from one island to another.
But I think this is a fantastic project.
And actually, we had another idea too. Kenny Pizzetti mentioned that we'd make it, instead of a one-sided board, a two-sided board, and have information on the lake itself, like the origin of the name, obviously, which people are very fascinated by, as well as some information about the ponds, the Indians that used to live there on the other side, which shouldn't be very hard at all to make
Excellent.
into.
I think it's excellent.
Absolutely.
I think we're all in favor. Sounds like you might need more plexiglass then.
Oh yeah, thank you.
No, thank you. We really appreciate it. Good luck to you.
Any other discussion? If not, I guess we'll take a vote.
Okay, absolutely.
Have a motion
Second.
So moved, yeah, second.
to approve of the project. Go ahead, Courtney, sorry.
Selectman Miller?
Yes,
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. Andrew, thank you.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Yeah, it is. We have an appointment to the planning board as an associate member. Miss Erin Hahn, am I saying that correctly? Is she here? Is she not here? Okay, I guess we'll leave this on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
And Jill DeGillis is going to be coming up and talking about the Worcester Community Action Council Head Start program. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Keep-
My name is Jill DeGillis. I'm the Executive Director of the Worcester Community Action Council, and I've provided for you some informational packages on our agency, and if it meets your approval, I'd like to just provide a few minutes of an overview about the agency and our Head Start program,
Please.
and then happy to answer questions and introduce some of our staff, a board member, and a couple of moms who are involved in our program, if that meets your satisfaction.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here, and I want to start by thanking the town as we come out of the gate looking for relocating back here in Webster. We've been in Webster before. I do want to thank Pam, the building official, and the rest of your team, Carol, who's here, Carol Sear, as we've done some exploration to date to see if your town-owned building right here at the center of town on School Street would meet our needs for Head Start program, and then to see if it would work for you as well. So I want to start by saying thank you. WCAC is the federally designated anti-poverty agency for Worcester and 45 communities here in Central Mass down to South County, to the southern border. We are serving approximately 75,000 people a year. We are a strong, stable nonprofit with a $20 million annual budget and a really dedicated staff. We focus on education, employment, energy, asset development, and youth and family services. And everything we do is designed to help people move forward out of poverty to economic self-sufficiency. We're perhaps best known for our fuel assistance, low-income fuel assistance program, which most of our funding is federal. We do have state funds as well, and we fundraise and do quite a bit of grant making. But primarily, we're federally funded, about 95%, which is very stable and strong, we're proud to say. Fuel assistance serves, we process approximately 13,000 applications each year, which equates to 26 to 28 and sometimes 30,000 people in our Central Mass region. With that, I will give you some statistics of how we've been serving Webster. Some of the other programs, though, before I move on from that, sorry, we total approximately $9.4 million in benefits that we allocate out to the region for people to keep their homes warm. Last year, the program provided more than $500,000 in assistance to more than 750 households here in Webster alone, as well as nearly $45,000 in weatherization and heating system repair and replacements, again, right here in town. We also operate a Healthy Families program of Southern Worcester County, and that provides young, first-time parents the support and resources that they need to raise healthy babies. We served 24 households in Webster last year. But this evening, I'm here to talk about and provide you with some information on our Head Start program, which, as I said, we hope to bring to the town of Webster. And I noted briefly we hope to bring it back because once upon a time, we were located here and operated classrooms at the former Armory about 15 years ago. So we'd be delighted to be back. WCAC's Head Start program is young, celebrating its 25th anniversary in February, and during that time we've served over 4,000 children, providing them and their low-income children and their families with school readiness, health and nutrition services, and parent programs. Beyond providing quality care and early education to young children, the program provides parents an opportunity to hold employment or go to school or job training. This program in particular, Head Start, does give children just that, a head start in school. And your former superintendent, Dr. Barbara Malkus, was really a champion for us when we were looking in Webster, which is our second highest community of need where families qualify, Southbridge being the first. And she was really championing for us to come to town because she could see that the children who came through the Head Start program were really ready to succeed in school. So we know she's moved on to another opportunity and position, but we thank her for her support during that time. The other sites and locations that we've run our Head Start program have been not only in Webster, but also previously in Millbury, in Spencer, as well as a site in Oxford. Unfortunately, our site, we would still be in Oxford. However, the snowstorm of a couple of winters ago caused the roof to have severe damage and ceiling tiles and lights to collapse, so we were evacuated and we were a bit homeless. So we had to scramble to find new locations, temporarily in Auburn, in Southbridge, and one classroom out here in Webster with the Guild of St. Agnes. So now we're looking to set down roots and be more permanent again. And we're delighted to be looking at the School Street facility that was formerly your senior center. I believe that's correct. Mm-hmm. And we would need to do some build out. We would do the building improvements. We're not only looking to do that with grant funds and fundraising and some of our own funds, but would also ask the town to consider, as we move forward and see if you approve of this, for some in-kind donations, which we must achieve to meet our federal requirement. That can include, we've talked with Pam about maintenance or upkeep of the landscaping and parking lot, upkeeping of the envelope of the building, and so forth. So those are opportunities that we've had in past facilities, agreements we've had with the town of Oxford, for example, and the same thing with the town of Southbridge. Again, just thanking Pam, Carol, the building official, Mr. Tatro, and others for getting us to this point. There's an awful lot of due diligence we must move through before we can locate anywhere. We're certified by the state and licensed by the state, and we have many requirements that we must achieve before we can automatically just say, we're here and we'd like to move in. I would like to just pause for a minute and introduce our co-directors for the Head Start program, Kathy Dow and Evelyn Velez. Kathy Dow and Evelyn Velez. They've been with WCAC and in particular with the Head Start program for many, many years. Evelyn was one of the original founders of our Head Start program, some young 25 years ago. And Kathy has been with WCAC, Kathy, for 18 years. I want to say 15, but it's 18. So between them, they have a lot of experience and credentials and passion for the children and families that we serve, and we really applaud them. I'm delighted also that we're joined by Leslie Baker, who is from town and is affiliated with your educational programs here. Leslie just recently joined the board as an appointee in a public sector seat on behalf of Representative McKenna. Our board must consist of public, private, and consumer sector representatives, and so we're delighted that Leslie has joined the board and has been a wonderful advocate for us. Thank you, Leslie. In the packets that I provided for you, there's information about WCAC, our annual report, a snapshot of Head Start, and more, and we'd be delighted to answer questions whenever you see fit or after this evening. And we'd like to invite you to see in there an opportunity to participate in our annual coat drive, where we either raise funds or companies and partners help donate coats to all the little children in our Head Start, Healthy Families, and Job and Education Center programs. It's a really wonderful hands-on opportunity to support the kids and families. And again, the kids are growing every year, so they're outgrowing those coats from last year, and we like to make sure we're keeping them healthy and warm. I'd like to introduce, we have two moms that are with us tonight who are from Webster, and if you would so indulge us, ask them to come up for a half a minute to share their story and experience. Ladies, come on up. I'm going to step aside if you don't mind and let them tell their stories.
So welcome. We'll just have you grab a seat and just let us know your name. And
My name's Lavish Rest.
My name's Cheryl Colazzo.
welcome.
My heart's doing 100 because every time they talk about the Head Start program, it gets me every time because
Excited.
they've helped me out a lot. So I need a second. I've been with the program for 4 years, and for the past 3 years, I was on their policy council. And I came back last year as a community rep. I have 2 children that were in the program, but I came last year as a community rep with no children in the program, but since they did so much for me and my son, I decided to support them and come back and still be a part of the program. Head Start came about for me when my son was 3 years old. He wasn't talking a lot. He wasn't talking a lot, and I really didn't give him the communication that he needed because I was a first-time mother. And I didn't know how to handle. He had a lot of tantrums and fits, and I'd walk away instead of giving him the words. He might what's the matter? Can I help you? So I didn't give him words. So it went for a long time with a communication problem between us, I guess you would say. And my parents said, try Head Start. We put your 2 brothers in there, and that helped us. So I put him in Head Start, and after that, they have parent workshops, and I took the parent workshop and learned a lot about communicating with your children and being a good listener and things like that, and that helped me out a lot. He had an IEP for speech, so after the program, he's now a first grader that at times I want him to be quiet. That's a nice way of putting it. We have no communication problems at all. He definitely expresses himself, and he's more like a leader around his friends, and Head Start gave me that education that I passed on to him for the communication part. I was always a good mom. They helped me become a better mother, for sure. They're a huge help because, like she said, around the winter months, they do donate coats, and that helps me out because now I don't have to worry about a jacket. I can spend my money on extra Christmas gifts or mittens or hats for the kids, things like that. My daughter is actually in the program this year. So she's in the program, and while she's at Head Start, I'm able to work, or I'm also in a job training program right now and get myself together and start my new career so that I can support my kids. And they also have a nutrition program. My son was a picky eater, and they would send recipes home. They had a chef come to the school. So I introduced different foods to my kids. My daughter's not a picky eater. Because of that fact of doing it with him, I introduced new foods with her. So she's not a picky eater, and she's also a great communicator. She wakes up in the morning and says, "Mom, the sun's out. It's time to wake up. Mom, I need a drink. Mom, get up, I need a drink." So we're just working on manners, but she will come in and tell you everything, what she needs, why, when, how, when, where. So that we're good. And the troubles that I'm having now is that she's in the program full time. I'm able to work and do career training, but I'm going to Southbridge every afternoon, which is a half an hour away, to go pick her up. And I have a 98 Dodge Voyager that I'm just praying doesn't break down this year, because if it does, then the problem I'm gonna have is, now how do I get her there? So that's a big issue for me. I have a friend that enrolled her daughter in the program. The problem with her was she didn't drive at all. So when she found out she had her daughter in full time, she's able to pick up more hours from work, and thought she's gonna have her life together this year. Until they said, well, we can't bust them back. And so she had to take her daughter out of the program, and she just put her in a preschool in town, but she's not gonna get the benefits that we're getting. And she's kind of cut short because of the transportation issue. I told her I will drive her, I'm going to pick up my daughter. She's like, but if my daughter's sick during the day, what am I gonna do? I don't have a car, I don't have transportation, I don't have family around here. So she's missing out on those benefits. We have a lot of low income in this town. We have North Village, Hartley Terrace, Second Island, and a lot of these families will benefit from this program. So I would really like to see it in this town. That's why I'm here today. And I just found out that we can serve 5 years on the policy council meeting, so sign me up. Sign me up, because I'm with you guys all the way. You've done so much for my family, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Well,
And
thanks
this
so
is my
much.
friend
You wanna go
Cheryl.
ahead?
She has a little bit she wants to say also.
I must say that I'm very grateful for this program. It has benefited me.
I know.
I'm so emotional.
You're okay, you can be.
In so many ways. I've had an on-again, off-again relationship that I've struggled with abuse. And because of that, things haven't been very stable in my life. And Head Start has been one of those constants that my kids have had through this time. I'm currently going through a divorce now. I'm moving into Millbury. And I work in Millbury, so that's why I'm moving there. But my daughter came through the program. She started in early Head Start when she was 2 years old. And because of this program, she was kindergarten ready. She didn't have any struggles in school whatsoever. And I believe I have this program to thank for that. My son is a little bit different. He did have a speech problem, but he had the early Head Start program. They referred him to early intervention. Early intervention worked with him until he was 3. And then last year he did a year of Head Start. And after that year of Head Start, his speech improved significantly. And you know, because of things that have happened with my soon-to-be ex-husband, he has some behavioral issues, and I know that I can trust this program to take care of my son, and it is such a comfort to me to know that he can still go to this program during this transition for me going to Millbury, because they're going to work with him on his level. They do specific activities to meet his needs, to help him better control his hyperactivity and his behavioral issues. I was a part of Policy Council last year, and like I said, this program has done so much for me, and I've formed such a bond with the teachers
They're
and
like our family.
with the directors, you know, and they really have been there for me through this difficult time. Especially as a single mom, it can be very difficult, and the reason why it would benefit me to have this program here in Webster is, like I said, I work in Millbury. I take care of a lady with muscular dystrophy. I've been working for her for 4 years. Because of this program, I've been able to keep consistent with that job, and the program now is in Southbridge, so it's about a 40-minute drive from Millbury to Southbridge. Having the program here in Webster will cut that commute in half, and that's why I feel that this program should be here in Webster. I know other families here, you know, that I meet at the bus stop, and you know, just through the community that have their kids in this program, and I know it would benefit them significantly to have this program here.
I can't thank the two of you enough for your courage, first off, for sharing, you know, your stories and such a glowing endorsement of Head Start. I think there was a meeting maybe a half a year ago and talking about bringing it to the former senior center, and everyone in the room at the time, you know, was hearing stories like yours, and so I think it would mean a huge amount for our town, and it's certainly needed in the town. You know, the big question is we have a senior center that's no longer used. You don't want to see a building that is not used, and how great it would be to go from seniors to children.
Yes.
You know, what a great transformation that could be. You know, certainly a lot would have to be worked out in the details of that, but for myself, I know that, you know, it's something I would certainly like to fight for you.
Just, yes, Mr. Chairman, just to let you know, we're going back to the way it was when it originally started, right, Leanne? Yes, indeed. It was a school, and it'll go back as a school, St. Anthony's. And, of course, Leanne would remember that, I wouldn't, but, gotcha. No, she went there, as a matter of fact. And I think that would be like you said also, to use that building and have it appropriate for a program like this. I'm watching these two young ones over here, and as a grandfather, you're not, but
Hopefully someday.
That's okay. But it's enjoyable to watch them too. You know, I was watching the curiosity out of them, and I'm saying, you know, everybody's taking a little step here, and I know how hard it is probably for you to come forward. I saw how emotional it is, and sometimes everyone needs a little boost, shall we say, and also to see that you're also giving back to the same program. So it's working. It's a two-way street there. The way I was catching that from
And giving
both
back.
of you, and
Yes.
that was wonderful. And as soon as I don't know what the plans are or how they're going to go forward, but I know that when I get back in May, what was talked about, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what kind of conversions or anything like that. I'm sure there'll be some, but
Yeah, the building would need to be brought up certainly to code,
Yep.
current code. Mr. Joel, did you have anything?
I was excited to see the program back in the area.
There are several steps and requirements that they need to satisfy for their funding. You will see on the town meeting warrant for October another step in the process, and that being actually declaring the property surplus and available for a potential lease for this purpose. So.
great.
No, again, you know, can't thank you enough for coming forward, because you're setting a great example for others
Thank you.
in what you're doing, so.
Thank
And
you.
kids
I
and
just wanna
parents don't
see
come
Head
with
Start in our
instruction
town.
manuals.
No, they don't. I needed that extra schooling, and that's okay. Now I'm raising a good household, so.
My wife two sons had the benefit of going to the Commerce Daycare, and that, and those teachers were our family. I understand completely
Yes.
what you're referring to.
And my mother's still trying to understand me.
So are we sometimes. Thank you both.
We just
Thank
want to
you very
thank you
much.
very much. We
Thank
do
you.
have wait lists. We know that there are families in town. We hope we can make it a win-win for you, the town, for the residents and families, and, you know, for our staff who really care about these little ones and the families. And really, it's the stories that really matter, not the agency. We're in our role to provide tools and training and help, but it's really the stories of the families that really make a difference. So
One question, if I
Sure.
may,
Please.
Mr. Chairman. As far as any local transportation, would that be provided? to
we really will be looking carefully at the budget to see
Mhm.
if we can first build out the facility so we can
Yeah.
provide the program. And then we know that there are still some families who would need some transportation, so we're gonna try to see if we can squeeze that into the budget as well.
Great.
We know that some of the, outer edges of town are harder for families to get to, but we first and foremost wanna provide the site, the teaching staff, the nutrition program, and the program for the families. So it's incremental, but we hope so, is the shorter answer.
Great. Well, I think you've got a board here, and certainly thanking Pam and Ted, Carol.
They've been wonderful, they really have. I mean, it takes a lot to get to the point where we can settle, and it really feels good to be welcomed, and they have represented your town so well, welcoming us, very professional, and, the details are enormous, and they've been great. So
Well, I
on
think-
behalf of all of us and our board, thank you, all of you.
I think you'll see this board too, doing whatever we can
Thank you,
to see it happen.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you all.
thank you all very much.
Well, as Mr. Miller said earlier, this is one of the nicer things that we as selectmen get to see and hopefully, see to fruition as well. So thank you again all for coming in. The next meeting agenda was the approval of the new inspectional services fees. Given the fact that we don't have our chairman tonight or Mr. Dagevich, I guess I'd entertain a motion if we could to,
Make a motion to table, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman.
I'll second.
any other discussion? Pam, did you want to talk at all about any of the information on here, or do you just want to hold off for,
We'll hold off
Okay.
until there's a full board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Courtney? do you-
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. Moving on now, Pam, could we have your report? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I held a department head meeting on Thursday, September 1st. I've attached the agenda. We do issue agendas for our department head meetings. I thought for the board's information, I'd start attaching those when I do hold one. I attended a code enforcement team or pre-development meeting on Thursday, September 1st. I attended a library planning and building committee meeting on Thursday, September 1st. And I also attended a finance committee meeting on Thursday, September 1st. I attended the 9/11 ceremony at the fire department on Sunday, September 11th. I attended a SWEC Board of Directors meeting on Monday, September 12th. I met with Selectman Miller on Monday, September 12th. And I, of course, attended the Board of Selectmen meeting on Monday, September 12th. I attended a Charter Review Committee meeting on Wednesday, September 14th, and a Library Planning and Building Committee meeting on Tuesday, September 20th. And I had the pleasure of attending the 33rd Annual Trooper George L. Hanna Memorial Awards for Bravery at the State House in Boston on Thursday, September 22nd. I've attached a copy of the program from that event, where 2 of our local police officers were recognized and acknowledged, and they received the Medal of Valor for an incident that occurred beginning of this year. Under departmental updates and announcements, a reminder that the fall annual town meeting will be held on Monday, October 17th at 7 p.m. in the Bartlett High School auditorium. Lawn signs will be placed in highly visible areas around town. A summary of the warrant articles will be advertised in the Telegram and Gazette on Friday, September 30th. Complete copies of the warrants will be posted in the town hall, in the library, police and fire stations. The electronic signboard will remain in front of town hall, and it will be updated to advertise the town meeting. The warrant will be available for viewing on the town's website, including a link from the town's official Facebook page, and will also be included in the October 12th issue of the Smart Shopper. The library, again, the library, for those of you who aren't aware yet, has relocated to its temporary space here in the Town Hall Auditorium for the duration of the demolition and construction phases of the building project. The library's hours of operation will remain the same while located in the Town Hall Auditorium, and we are back to the normal schedule rather than the summer hours, which includes Saturdays again from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And just a note, we are going to be making a change that access to this building will be limited to the Church Street entrance only when town hall offices are closed. That's just there is no way to close off the rest of the building, and that's just to maintain some sense of security for the rest of the building. We do have a custodian here at all hours when the library is open. This is just to kind of control things a little bit better. Hydrant flushing, the water department continues their fall biannual flushing operations that began last Monday, September 19th, and you can refer to the town's website for additional information on that. Gentlemen, under action items, we have a downtown liquor license application for Thai cuisine. And under informational items, I've attached a copy of CME, who is our serving as our town engineer, if you will, our CME weekly status report dated September 23rd, 2016. I will be including this in my future town administrator reports, just so the board is aware of the goings-on relative to the planning board, pre-development, and those types of things. And if you have any questions when you review this, please feel free to contact me.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, before I make a motion to accept the administrator's report, I just wanted to, those of you that don't know, on the George L. Hanna Memorial Award for Bravery, we had Officer Robert J. Ela and Officer Timothy S. Whiting, and they went through quite a harrowing experience on North Main Street, if I believe that was the one. And congratulations from me personally for them. I happened to be riding around town that morning and saw a lot of the commotion on my way to Milford at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I said, my God, you know, that was enough for me, you know. But also, I did like you putting that in with CME, because that's always been one of my things, to keep us informed of what the heck is going on, what's going in where. There's nothing worse than flying through Facebook or somebody on the street and saying, what's going in over there, and you don't have a clue. And I also would always used to say, and I don't know if it's still appropriate or not, but if you give me a couple seconds, I won't take your meeting, is like, even whether it be the FinCom, conservation, planning, as you have, or zoning, even if we had a monthly update on it, the minutes would be fantastic, so we could just kind of look over them. I've always been one of those that have always advocated so that we knew what was going on, because most of those folks are our appointments. And if we don't know what's going on, how can we tell anyone else what's going on? That's just my own personal opinion. And with that, I'd make a motion to accept the administrator's report, unless I'll yield to my colleagues.
Second.
Is there any other discussion?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Well, that's quite okay. I too, as I'm sure Mr. Jolda would, and Chairman Bork and Selectman Dagevich, thank Officer Ela and Officer Whiting. I was able to attend that ceremony, and it was quite moving, and the heroism that we have in those officers, and all of our officers doing their day-to-day jobs, is extremely impressive. So thank you to them and all of our law enforcement and fire personnel.
I watched it, Lori Burrows had it.
Yeah, it was
Excellent.
very good. Courtney, take a roll.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Judah?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. Just a question now, after this, the downtown license application, that's an action item. Thai cuisine.
Correct, you had I believe it was a memo from Carol
Yeah.
Sear, who's the chairman of the Downtown Liquor License Committee. They met last Wednesday, I believe it was, and unfortunately, I couldn't be at that meeting. And they would like the board's approval for Thai cuisine. They've reviewed everything, and they would like the board's approval for Thai cuisine to now be able to submit all of the paperwork that's required for the board to then take a formal vote to send their application into the ABCC. This is a preliminary vote to allow that process to start.
I'd make a motion to do the preliminary, to get them started.
I'll
with the
second.
license. Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, we'll take a roll.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Judah?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
And I actually have to recuse on that. Thank you, Pam,
Thank
for the
you.
report.
Thank
Old business, I did have one item on there just to mention that I had spoken with the chairman about offering the ability for the first candidate that we interviewed for the town administrator to attend the meeting on Wednesday, and he accepted that, just out of pure fairness. So I just wanted to make everyone aware of that, so that we will see on an updated agenda, I think, that may have already been published.
It's already.
And moving on to new business. First item, the approval of the October 17th annual town meeting warrant. And that looks like a handout. Pam, do I remember that we have to read this into the record?
Yes, and if you'd like, Mr. Chairman, I will offer explanation on each of the articles. What you will notice, or I hope you notice anyway, is this warrant includes detailed information. There have been legitimate comments about when we put the warrant together, a sum sufficient, from any available funds in the treasury. So where I had the ability to detail that information, it has been done on this warrant. So that is something that is probably a change, but a good change.
It's good to have the transparency. That's
Correct.
good. Mr. Jolda, do you want to start reading, and then when you get tired, we can all kick in?
Oh, wait,
Or would you like me to start? It's up to you.
Makes no difference if we can start, do we want to take it one article at a time first?
If we could, and then,
vote on whether or not we're going to recommend and sponsor?
and then the acting
Okay.
town administrator can comment if
Sure.
where is needed.
So, to either of the constables in the county aforesaid, in the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby required and directed to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of Webster aforesaid, who are qualified to vote in elections and town affairs, to meet in the Bartlett High School auditorium, 52 Lake Parkway, in said Webster, on Monday, October 17th, 2016, at 7 p.m., then and there, to act on the following articles to wit. Article 1, to hear and act upon the report and recommendations of the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee. That's sponsored by the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, that's a standard one.
Mhm.
Article 2, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $99.12 from the town administrator employee training account and the sum of $146.36 from the fire electricity account, for a total of $245.48 to the town administrator unpaid bills account, for the purpose of funding the payment of prior year's unpaid invoices or take any action thereon, and this is sponsored by the acting town administrator.
So given the amounts, we probably don't have to discuss that one too much further.
Just quickly, the $99.12 is an outstanding detail invoice. Officer Johnson, at the former town administrator's request, provided RAD training. Courtney, do you remember what that means? RAD. Some kind of defensive training. Anyway, for females, I believe. So Officer Johnson provided that training to staff here and some staff here in the town hall that wanted to take it. So that was an unpaid bill. And there are 2 electric bills for the fire department that total $146.36.
Thank you, Pam.
Article 3, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $15,000 from the Senior Center Custodian salary account to the Recreation Director salary account, or take any action thereon, sponsored by the acting town administrator.
So the Board of Selectmen at their last meeting approved the job description that I drafted for the part-time recreation director. I've done a calculation based on $20 an hour, minimal hours on off-season, if you will, and more hours during the summer, of course, and during our beach operations, those types of things. The $15,000 is available from the Senior Center Custodian salary account because the Senior Center Director came to me, and again, as I've said, this is a team approach to our budgeting, and she has found alternate funding for her half of the full-time second shift custodian that we currently have. Half is paid by the town office building appropriation and half is paid by the senior center budget. She's going to be covering her half from her senior center formula grant. So that will come from grant funding. So this money is available to fund our part-time recreation director.
Thank you, Pam. Procedurally, do we want to take a vote on each one of these individually, or do we want to do it at the end?
Do it at the end if you wish, Mr. Chair. We could say we accept, like, for example, Article 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever,
Perfect.
et cetera. Except for the seniors, seniors. Citizens petition, sorry.
Moving on. Article 4, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $5,000 from the general liability insurance account to the data processing professional services account, or take any action thereon, sponsored by the acting town administrator.
This is the appropriation required if we're going to implement the Code Red that Mr. Miller, I believe, Selectman Miller has brought up. We are going to be having a presentation, Courtney, that's scheduled for, is that scheduled for the 11th? We are going to be having a presentation on the 11th. This $5,000 is what it would cost us to implement this system from November 1st through June 30th of this year. The funding is available for the general liability insurance account. As I said, I went out to the market and bid our insurance this year, and we went back to Maya, who we were with prior to the last 5 years, and it saved us approximately $80,000 this year from budget. So the money is available.
Either Pam or Mr. Miller, do you want to just describe Code Red for people?
If I may also just interject, I know it's 3 departments, so to speak, water, sewer, and highway, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, it would benefit all 3 of them. So if there's a road out for whatever, they could use that. If there's a sewer problem somewhere, if there's a water problem somewhere,
Absolutely.
everybody could be notified properly instead of, oh, I have brown water today, or there's a detour someplace that could be initiated, so.
This is a system that's utilized by many communities. We also, when the Town Meeting Review Committee was meeting, we talked about how to get the word out to residents, and we've implemented a few of those things that we were able to. A system such as this was something we talked about. We could utilize this to tell people about elections and town meetings and anything we need it for, so.
Thank you.
Article 5, to see if the town will vote to transfer from any available funds in the treasury a sum sufficient to the wiring inspector's salary account or take any action thereon, sponsored by the acting town administrator.
So this and the following two articles, we've tabled, again, the inspectional services fee schedule. The revolving fund was established at the annual town meeting. However, the funding for that hasn't been approved yet. So the process by paying our inspectors per inspection has not been implemented yet. So currently, we are continuing to pay our inspectors their previous stipends on a monthly basis, and there was no money budgeted for that. So again, I don't have an amount in here or a funding source because dependent upon the Board of Selectmen's action on this fee schedule, will determine how much money we need in each of these particular appropriations. If the Board of Selectmen chooses not to go this route, then we'll have to appropriate the full year's stipends for each of these individuals.
So Ms. Ledoux, the expenses were not included in, but the revenue was not included in either, because that would have been included in a revolving account in the main budget.
The general fund budget was budgeted at 0 because it was anticipated that the fee schedule would have been approved in time for July 1st to implement that payment schedule that way, that they would be paid that way.
Right, but on the expense side, the salaries, the stipends were not included.
No.
But on the revenue side, the fact that we are still collecting, are we not?
We're collecting the local fee.
But those were not
correct.
included in the budget either, were they? Because it would have been included in the revolving fund instead.
No. The local permit fee, there is no, if you look at the fee schedule, there is no recommendation to increase those permit fees whatsoever. What the increases to the fees are the inspection fees. We are recommending that our inspectors are paid $25 each inspection, gross. Of course, that would be collected by the town, deposited into the revolving fund. The inspectors would have to provide the town accountant's office with a list of their inspections for the month, and they would be paid pursuant to the number of inspections that they've accomplished through payroll with all withholdings, all legal withholdings. So.
Thank you.
Article 6, to see if the town will vote to transfer from any available funds in the treasury a sum sufficient to the plumbing inspector's salary account or take any action thereon, sponsored by the acting town administrator. Then keeping in line with the previous one, Article 7, to see if the town will vote to transfer from any available funds in the treasury a sum sufficient to the gas inspector's salary account or take any action thereon, sponsored by the acting town administrator. Article 8, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $100,000 from the town administrator salary reserve account as follows: $2,129.13 to the Selectmen Executive Secretary salary account, $134 to the Finance Committee Secretary salary account, $3,340.80 to the Town Accountant salary account, $493.29 to the Assistant Town Accountant salary account, $438.48 to the Town Accountant Principal Clerk salary account, $2,070.82 to the Chief Assessor salary account, $1,432.82 to the Assistant Chief Assessor salary account, $4,517.31 to the Police Chief salary account, $2,129.13 to the Police Executive Secretary salary account, $69,432.64 to the Police Patrolman Sergeant's salary account, $13,881.58 to the Police Holiday Pay account, or take any action thereon, sponsored by the Acting Town Administrator.
So, when I negotiated with the police, clerical, DPW unions, in addition to our non-union personnel who had been without any type of cost of living adjustment this would have been the fourth year. There was an amount of $100,000 put into salary reserve for that purpose. I've utilized the $100,000, and in the next article, there was $36,000 that was remaining in the budget, revenues over expenditures, and the additional $25,000 came out of that for raise and appropriate. And this is the total amount, other than the Article 10 is for the enterprise funds, but this is the general fund funding the COLAs and the collective bargaining agreements for this fiscal year.
Article 9, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,223.02 as follows: $1,423.18 to the Assistant Chief Assessor salary account, $392.91 to the Assessor's Senior Clerk salary account, $382.44 to the Assistant Town Treasurer salary account, $2,391 to the Town Collector's salary account, $456.75 to the Assistant Town Collector's salary account, $383.67 to the Town Collector Senior Clerk salary account, $649.16 to the MIS Director's salary account, $2,300.91 to the Town Clerk's salary account, $475.02 to the Assistant Town Clerk's salary account, $114.84 to the Town Office Building Custodian salary account, $250.56 to the Police Custodian salary account, $1,898.03 to the Fire Chief salary account, $1,033.40 to the Deputy Fire Chief salary account, $2,891.08 to the Building Commissioner salary account, $378.98 to the Inspectional Services Senior Clerk salary account, $2,897.14 to the Highway Superintendent salary account, $563.76 to the DPW Administrative Assistant salary account, $2,317.68 to the DPW General Labor salary account, $347.13 to the Senior Center Clerk salary account, $506.58 to the Veteran Services Director salary account, $1,656.35 to the library director salary account, $475.02 to the adult services librarian salary account, $456.75 to the youth services librarian salary account, $250.56 to the library custodian salary account, $420.21 to the library senior clerk salary account, or take any action thereon, sponsored by the acting town administrator.
So these again are the COLA and collective bargaining.
You want detail? We got detail.
Yes. Article 10, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $23,721.87 from the Water Operations Manager's salary account as follows: $649.15 to the Water MIS Director's salary account, $8,012.56 to the Water General Labor salary account, $2,129.13 to the Water Administrative Assistant salary account, $649.15 to the Sewer MIS Director salary account, $2,168.31 to the Sewer Superintendent salary account, $2,687.22 to the Sewer Operations Manager salary account, $2,687.22 to the Sewer Chief of Maintenance salary account, $2,610 to the Sewer General Labor salary account, $2,129.13 to the Sewer Administrative Assistant salary account, or take any action thereon, sponsored by the acting town administrator.
Just a brief description.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, this is a settlement of the DPW contract and also some of the non-union increases for the water and sewer enterprise funds.
Article 11, to see if the town will vote pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30B, Section 16, and Chapter 40, Section 3, to authorize the Board of Selectmen to lease the town property located at 116 School Street, Webster, for a period not to exceed 30 years, and for the specific public purpose of providing educational programs and care for children on such terms and conditions as the Board of Selectmen deems necessary and proper, and take any action thereon, sponsored by the acting town administrator.
And this, of course, is what we just talked about with Head Start.
And this article was drafted by council.
Article 12, to see if the town will vote to accept the provisions of Mass General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 8J, for the purpose of establishing a commission on disability, or take any action thereon, sponsored by the ADA Committee.
This is at the request of the ADA Committee to become a commission on disability. And Mr. Miller, I think this makes them eligible for...
You have different grants,
Mhm.
you have, it also, quite frankly, there have been cases, I guess, in other states where if you didn't have a commission and you didn't have everything, and of course, Ted is basically the head of...
ADA coordinator. Mhm.
Exactly. We could be liable for a lot of things if we're not in compliance. If we have a commission, we have a better chance than a committee. And it would also, well, that's another thing we want to, but that's a whole different subject, but we'll get onto that, and that'll protect the town, actually. Plus, it'll probably be self-sufficient once it gets going. And informational to anyone that has any type of disability. It'll be a place to coordinate. We can't tell them what to do, we can point them in the right direction.
Continuing on.
Yes. Article 13, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to petition the General Court for special legislation authorizing the town to release from that certain conservation restriction conveyed to the town and recorded with the Worcester District Registry of Deeds in Book 36251, page 160, which restriction is currently held in the care, custody, and control of the Conservation Commission, a portion of the land now subject to that restriction located at 35 Sunny Avenue.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, why don't we dispense with the reading of the whole article?
Sounds good to me.
Thank you.
In a nutshell, this, again, this was also drafted by
Yes.
council at the request of Representative McKenna. We need town meeting authorization. Sunny Shores, this is a conservation restriction exchange, if you will, for the property owner. And it has been approved by, vetted and approved by Conservation Commission, Board of Selectmen. This is the next step in the process.
And the state too, I believe.
In order for the Board of Selectmen to then be able to petition the state to then approve it. Correct, Mr. Miller, that's right.
Thank you.
This is locally the last stop here.
So this goes all the way through the warrant with an act relative to, so we're passing on the reading of that.
Yes.
And the others are what, citizens
Yeah, the
petitions?
remaining ones are citizens
All right, so we'll
petitions.
stop there, and
I'd make a motion to accept Articles 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And just to refer to sponsor, as we had talked about a little bit earlier, be 5, 6, and 7, once we get the,
amounts.
yeah, exactly. And then the last two, which are citizens petitions, that would be, God,
Yeah, we'll hold off on
Yes.
14 right now, so we're just gonna act
14
through
and
13.
15, refer to sponsor.
All right, so why don't we take if we can have a second,
Yeah, I'll second Selectman Miller's motion.
with regards to discussion. I just had, I have to recuse on one line item with a relative,
I saw that.
the line item of the $2,070.82, the chief assessor salary account, so I'd recuse on that item only.
Fair enough.
Is there any other discussion on the items so mentioned? If not, we'll take a roll.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. So moving on to Article 14, which is a citizen's petition. I think we need to read this, at least then we don't have to make a recommendation on it, but I think we're supposed to read it anyway.
Article 14, to see if the town will vote to accept Dominique Drive as a town road starting at Regina Ave from Station 0+00 to Station 3+00, going 300 feet in a southerly direction, and that is a citizen's petition.
I'll just refer to sponsor. That's my motion.
Do we have a second on that one?
Second.
Courtney, could you hold the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Article 15 is Chapter 314, Wild Feeding, Animal and Waterfowl.
Make a motion to dispense of the reading of the article.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. A second?
Second.
And this is a citizen's petition as well.
Make a motion to refer to sponsor, please.
Second.
Take a roll.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Right, and then at the end of the articles, it reads, and you are directed to serve this warrant by publishing attested copies thereof in a newspaper published within the town of Webster at least 7 days preceding the meeting, and by posting attested copies thereof with the town clerk and filing in the public library. Therefore, thereof, fail not and make due return of your doings thereon to the town clerk at the time and place of holding said meeting, given under our hands this 26th day of September in the year of our Lord, 2016. Signed, the Webster Board of Selectmen.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Jolda. Wonderful job as usual. That is the warrant. We do have some new business items. The other new business items. Thomas Claybert, reappointment to the planning board. I don't see any of the reappointments here.
Usually when they're reappointments, we put them under.
I would make, if it's okay with you, Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to have Thomas Claybert reappointed to the planning board. Done an excellent job.
Second.
And we'll take a vote, please.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
And you,
We have Michael Dostoler for the reappointment to the planning board as well.
he's been on quite a while, Mr. Chairman. I'd make a motion we keep Michael Dossler for reappointment to the planning board.
I'll second.
Okay, Courtney, please take a vote.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. And Dennis DeShino, reappointment to the planning board. I think I missed, yes, Mr. Miller.
Denise.
Denise.
Good.
To the planning board,
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Yep, second.
and we'll take a roll, please.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. Another item on the new business is the announcement of trick or treat for Monday, October 31st, 2016, from 5:30 PM to 7:30 PM. This is actually happening on Halloween.
Mm.
And it's
First
the
time.
same time as Dudley, too. So.
Oh,
No double dipping. Also, we need to acknowledge the receipt of an open meeting complaint filed by Patrick Higgins dated September 13th, 2016, and to authorize town council to respond. I do have a note here from town council. If the members would allow me, I'll read this.
please.
So this would be the response that we would provide. On September 13th, 2016, the board received an open meeting law complaint filed by Mr. Patrick Higgins. The complaint alleged the board violated the open meeting law when the board convened an executive session on August 31st, 2016. We addressed the August 31st, 2016 executive session at our meeting on September 13th, 2016. At that time, I advised that the Board of Selectmen met in executive session on August 31st to consider information concerning the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health, rather than the professional competence of the 5 finalists recommended by the Town Administrator Screening Committee. In that executive session, we were given background check information on 3 of the 5 finalists. We were told that background check information for 2 of the finalists who had altered the background check authorization forms could not be provided. We adjourned from executive session without further discussion. We addressed the August 31st executive session on September 13th in open session to remedy any perceived violation of the open meeting law. Town council is prepared to file a response to Mr. Higgins' complaint with the Attorney General. I'll entertain a motion that the board acknowledges receipt of the complaint filed by Mr. Higgins and authorizes town council to file a response to the complaint on behalf of the board.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Is there any further discussion on this? If not, we'll take a vote.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. Do we have any other pieces of new business today? Moving on then to informational mail.
We did receive some resignations from Angela Brayton on Webster Recreation Committee with regrets, and also Thomas V. Ralph Jr., which he verbally said but sent us a formal letter from the Town Administrator Search Committee. We also, with regret, and thank you for his service, all of the folks, and also Linda Littleton, I guess, as of December 15th, would like to, is submitting her resignation as chair of the Webster Arts Lottery Council, Mass Arts Lottery, and she served 10 years in Milford, 6 years here in Webster as chair, and she says it's time for new leadership and direction, and with regrets, because she's always been very active. So I don't know if it would be up to the board to send them all, I would like to send them all just a letter of thank you for your service, with regrets, and if that's okay with.
Certainly agree and
The board.
entertain a motion.
Second.
Courtney, could you take the roll, please?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Julie?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
No, thank you.
We did also receive, in the informational mail, a letter from Attorney Bridgman regarding information he thought the selectmen should be aware of on an ABCC decision that took place back in December of 2015. And did we have any other information
Did you
mail that we
wanna
want to
read
talk
this?
about? Thank you.
The only other thing we got was, mini entitlement program release. Housing rehabilitation.
Also, under informational mail, we did receive a letter from the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission giving us guidance as local licensing authority regarding alcohol-infused ice cream.
Something new every day.
I guess so.
Let's read that, oh, okay.
I guess if there's nothing else, we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Opposed, so
you.
voted.
Andrew, thank you.